After Hitler invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, Britain and France declared war on Germany, fulfilling their promise to defend Poland. After Poland fell within 5 weeks, nothing much happened on the Western Front. This strange period, September 1939 to May 1940, is known as the Phony War, blitzkrieg. Both sides built defenses, but neither attacked. France relied on the Maginot Line, a massive wall of fortifications along its border with Germany. Britain sent a small British expeditionary force, BF, to help defend northern France. Germany, meanwhile, regrouped, and Hitler planned his next move. Hitler's goal was to defeat France and the Low Countries of Belgium and the Netherlands quickly, just as he had crushed Poland. He needed to do this before turning east against the Soviet Union and before Britain could grow stronger. At first, the German generals planned a direct attack through central Belgium, similar to World War I. But one general, Erich von Manstein, proposed a much bolder plan. The main attack wouldn't go through Belgium, where the Allies expected it. Instead, the main force would secretly go through the Ardennes Forest, a hilly, wooded region on the French-Belgian border. The Allies believed tanks couldn't pass there, a deadly mistake. Once through, the German forces would swing north, cutting off the Allied armies in Belgium from the rest of France. Hitler loved the idea. This became Case Yellow, Fall Gelb, the plan that would destroy France. On May 10, 1940, Germany launched its Western campaign. It attacked 3 countries at once: the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. The attack combined speed, air power, and surprise, the famous blitzkrieg, or lightning war. The German army and paratroopers attacked Dutch cities and airfields. The Dutch resisted fiercely for 4 days, but after Rotterdam was heavily bombed, the Netherlands surrendered on May 15, 1940. The Germans invaded Belgium next, drawing British and French forces northward to help. This was part of the trap. While the Allies moved north, the main German force was already slipping through the Ardennes to the south. The French troops, they were unprepared, lightly armed, and poorly commanded. Once through, the German tanks raced west toward the English Channel, cutting across northern France. By May 20th, they reached the sea near Abbeville, trapping the British and French armies in Belgium. This was one of the most brilliant military maneuvers in history. The Allied armies, nearly 400,000 men, were now surrounded. The trapped Allied forces retreated to the port of Dunkirk in northern France. Hitler, believing the area was too marshy for tanks, ordered them to stop temporarily, one of his greatest mistakes. That pause allowed the Allies to organize a massive rescue effort, Operation Dynamo. Although they lost almost all their heavy equipment, this evacuation saved the core of the British Army. It meant Britain could continue fighting, a major strategic failure for Hitler. After Dunkirk, the German army turned south to finish the job. The weakened French forces couldn't stop them. German troops entered Paris on June 22nd, 1940, France surrendered. The country was divided. Northern and western France were occupied by Germany. Southern France became a free zone under the puppet government of Vichy France, led by Marshal Philippe Pétain. The French army was disarmed, and millions of soldiers went into captivity. After France's fall, Hitler controlled most of Western Europe, but Britain refused to surrender. Prime Minister Winston Churchill declared that Britain would fight on. Hitler expected Britain to make peace. When they didn't, he prepared Operation Sea Lion, the planned invasion of Britain. But to invade, Germany first needed control of the skies. That led to the Battle of Britain, October 1940, where the German Luftwaffe tried and failed to destroy the Royal Air Force. When that failed, Hitler abandoned the invasion of Britain and turned his attention east to the Soviet Union. Hitler believes he's unstoppable. After crushing France and most of Europe, he's convinced the Soviet Union will fall within weeks. But behind his victories lay a dangerous obsession: Lebensraum, living space in the East. To Hitler, the Soviet Union wasn't just another enemy. It was the center of everything he despised: communism, Slavs, and Jews. Despite having signed a non-aggression pact with Stalin in 1939, Hitler never intended to keep it. He saw the USSR as both a threat and a prize. By 1941, he decided the time had come to destroy it. Operation Barbarossa was designed to be a lightning strike, a blitzkrieg on an unimaginable scale. 3 massive army groups would sweep across the Soviet Union. Army Group North to capture Leningrad, Army Group Center toward Moscow, and Army Group South toward Ukraine and oil fields. Hitler expected victory in just a few months before winter. His generals warned against it, but he ignored them. The Nazis underestimated Soviet manpower, their industrial capacity, and, above all, their resilience. At first, everything went according to plan. The Wehrmacht smashed through Soviet lines. Entire armies were encircled and destroyed. By September, millions of Soviet soldiers were killed or captured. German propaganda declared victory was near. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Then came the fatal decisions. Hitler couldn't resist meddling in military strategy. Instead of pushing directly toward Moscow, he diverted troops to capture Ukraine and Leningrad. That delay cost the Germans precious months. By the time the army regrouped for the Moscow offensive, winter had arrived. Engines froze, guns jammed, soldiers wrapped newspapers around their boots. They weren't equipped for the Russian winter, because Hitler believed the campaign would end long before it came. Meanwhile, Soviet morale hardened. Stalin, once paralyzed by shock, now rallied his people with brutal determination. Siberian divisions, trained for winter warfare, arrived to defend Moscow. In December 1941, the Red Army launched a massive counterattack. For the first time, the German advance was stopped and pushed back. Operation Barbarossa had failed. Germany had lost 500,000 men. And worse, it had awakened a sleeping giant, a Soviet Union that would now fight relentlessly, all the way to Berlin.